Everything happens for a reason. Really? Again, stating the obvious. Everything happens for a reason. Yes, there's a reason behind everything that happens. I'm assuming this kind of advice is to elicit somebody to look at learning from that reason, or getting some perspective behind the reason, or at least finding a reason that is positive, or a teaching experience as such. But if you're dealing with something that's awful and lousy and crappy and horrible, and people say to you, everything happens for a reason, you know what the reason is. You know exactly what the reason is. Or do you? When you're in a certain state of mind, the reasons you come up with for what things happen usually are not the truth. But at that moment, that is your truth. That is your truth. Two people can see exactly the same event and have totally different perceptions about what happened. Have you ever gone to a movie and watched the movie and told somebody, oh, you got to watch this movie, it's fantastic, and the person said, see, that was rubbish. Like, did you see the same movie? How could you think it was rubbish? We see things through our own lenses. So yes, does everything happen for a reason? Absolutely, it happens for a reason. That's obvious. Cause and effect. But the reason is what we see through the lens that we are seeing the event through. Sometimes the reason is not something we want to address. Sometimes the reason is false or fake, or is a delusion in many cases. So how do we find the reason? Somebody says to you, everything happens for a reason. Okay, dude, what's the reason? They might have an answer for you, they might not. But if they do have an answer, chances are it's an answer from their perspective. Now, is their perspective wrong? Not necessarily. There's a lot of folks that have, there's nothing new under the sun. We've heard the saying before. There's nothing new under the sun, which means a lot of people have been what you've been through, have experienced what we have been through, have seen how things play out, and can kind of foretell in a way, or they can't predict with accuracy, but with a large degree of possibility what actually happened and what's going to happen. Especially when it comes to legal things, business things, but also relationships. You can see what they call the writing on the wall. So does everything happen for a reason? Yes. What that reason is needs to be explored. If we explore it just by ourselves, we will get an answer that is predominantly from our own perception, from our own filter, from our own understanding of what happened. Is that the truth? Or we can say that's my truth. Truth is subjective. There is no absolute truth. And yet, I believe if you really want to learn from a situation so it doesn't happen again, gain wisdom, it's my own belief. Like I said before, you decide whether it's good wisdom or good advice or bad wisdom. My own belief is that if you want to do something, yes, speak to other people about it, especially people who you respect, who you admire, and whose life represents an image of the kind of life that you would like for yourself as well. Everything does happen for a reason, but it might not be the reason that you think. How often have we assumed things and been wrong? How often have we made deductions about why somebody did something or why something happened? This is especially true for car accidents. You've heard it many times before. 2-3 people in a car accident, each one of them has a different account of the accident. So what is the reason? What is the cause? Do we need to know the cause? That's another question. Do we actually need to know why? What that reason is? Sometimes. Sometimes it's very vital, I think. But sometimes it doesn't really even matter. So, everything happens for a reason? True. I believe it's true. It's obvious. It's stating the obvious. There's always a cause to have an effect. Telling somebody that everything happens for a reason, I believe depends on the circumstance. But then again, I might be wrong. I'm happy to hear your opinion. I'm happy to hear your perspective. And that's why we created this channel, to start conversations. You can, please, Let me know. I'd love to engage with you in a conversation. I'd love to learn from you. I'd love to hear your perspective. I'm always open to speaking with people that disagree with me, because I'd love to see that perspective, that point of view, and understand where you're coming from. And very often I have changed my mind. If you make a good case and a good point, and speak in a way that's respectful, that we're open and actually listening to each other, amazing insights and wisdom can come from that. So please engage in the comments below. I'd love to hear more from you. If you haven't subscribed yet and you enjoy this content, please subscribe and hit the bell so that you'll be notified every time new content becomes available. If you like it as well, you would really help me loads if you could share this with people that you think will also enjoy the content. Until then, with respect and gratitude, thank you.